Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another instalment of my internet favourites. This is a very sporadic series where I just show you some of my favourite things from around the internet, whether that be YouTube channels, podcasts, music, just random websites, like whatever. I feel like there's a real theme to this whole video. Everything except one thing is kind of super emo, which is very thematic given the time that we are in. My Chemical Romance reunited a few weeks ago. Any second now they're going to announce a UK show date and I cannot miss it, so I've got their tweet notifications on. What I was trying to say before I got mega distracted talking about emo stuff, which is kind of like a common theme in my life right now, like I just cannot shut up about these things. I think we'll start off with the one thing which isn't emo and is kind of like the most opposite to emo you can possibly get, and that is the YouTube channel Lavender. Lavender is a YouTube channel run by a girl called Eileen and she makes the most beautiful videos. Just aesthetically they are absolutely beautiful. Everything is pastel and minimal and lovely. She makes videos about self-growth and lifestyle design, basically ways to improve your life, goal setting. There's a bit of minimalism thrown in there. Sometimes she makes like zero wasty type videos. I think that's how I found her a few years ago, but mainly she focuses on like lifestyle design stuff. She talks about being an artist of life, which is, you know, taking your life and making it your own and doing something beautiful with it. She has a podcast as well called The Lavender Lifestyle, which is again about personal growth and lifestyle design, and that's more of an interview format, so it's bringing in other people's opinions and the way that they have become artists of life. So Lavender is a channel that I really recommend if you're into any of that kind of stuff as well. I find her content really motivational and inspirational, not just because that is like kind of how it's intended, but I love the style of her videos and the way they're edited and the way she films things, and I take a lot of inspiration from that to implement some of that into my own videos as well. My next internet favourite is a Netflix show and it's called Dark Tourist. It's a Netflix original and it's all about dark tourism, which kind of is self-explanatory, but if you don't know what it is, it's about tourism, which is a bit more like macabre and a bit darker, visiting places which are like specifically linked to death or something a bit creepy or weird. It's a documentary style format and it follows this journalist from New Zealand who has like the most amazing accent, and he goes to all these kind of dark tourist hotspots around the world. Each episode is based in a region, so there's like Latin America, Japan, USA, Southeast Asia. My favourite moments from the series, in the Latin America episode, he meets one of Pablo Escobar's former hitmen. So basically this former hitman makes his living of pretending to kill people who were into Pablo Escobar stuff. What else is there? A lot of things like with traditional ceremonies for death and like dead people. In the Southeast Asia episode they bring up this really old corpse and then they have this ceremony and they clean the corpse and they rebury it. In America he meets some vampires, he meets a Jeffrey Dahmer enthusiast. The Japanese episode he goes to some towns which have been abandoned because of radiation, and I think the most interesting one to me was when he went to Myanmar, which is honestly a country I don't know that much about. He was like escorted this whole time by a special tour guide and he wasn't allowed in certain places. It was very bizarre the way that they treated him as a tourist and they sort of showed him around and they were really eager to show him everything, but it just felt very uncomfortable because he was the only tourist there and everybody was sort of eagerly waiting for him to arrive, like it was all a presentation. So it was very interesting, that episode, and very eye-opening. And I guess if you're really into your travel, this is a great series because it's going to be showing you places that are more obscure to visit. I mean, you don't really see many Instagrammers going to Myanmar, so if you want some travel inspo for Myanmar, then Dark Tourist on Netflix is a good source. This is right up my street. It's travel, it's a bit dark, and it's got a New Zealand accent. Also, on a similar note, this isn't on the list that I wrote down, but it's kind of linked into this really nicely and it is one of my favourite things. It's the website Atlas Obscura, which is essentially a big catalogue of weird and obscure places to visit. When I went to Glasgow there was the Duke of Wellington statue, which is the statue of the Duke of Wellington on his horse, which had a cone on his head, like a traffic cone, since like the 1980s, and every time the council take it away someone puts a new one on there. It's like fun quirky stuff like that, but then there's also just like a lot of cemeteries and slightly creepy things. I'm just looking at places that I've been to in the last few months. Glasgow Necropolis, the remains of Dolly the sheep. They don't have an app, which is really annoying. I would pay good money for an app, so Atlas Obscura, if you're watching this, get developing an app. So yeah, that's a great website as well if you're looking for creepy things or just slightly more off the beaten path things when you're travelling, or you can even use it just in your local area because there might be something cool around you which you didn't even know about. Next I want to talk about a podcast, and that is Sapling Podcast, which is a podcast where they interview musicians and bands, mainly like rock, metal, alternative, and it's run by Sean Smith from The Blackout and his friend Morgan. If you need any more convincing to listen to it, they have beautiful South Wales accents. Most of the bands that they interview are ones which I like and want to know things about, so they did an episode with Winston McCall from Parkway Drive. My favourite episode probably was the one with Charlie Simpson, for obvious reasons. And then there's some bands which I've heard of but haven't ever really listened to and given their music a chance. And it's really encouraging me to kind of broaden my music taste a little bit, listen to some new bands, would recommend to anybody into the same kind of music as me. It's really nice to see Sean kind of moving on and thriving, because I think after the Blackout broke up, he struggled a lot with like his purpose in life. So it's really nice to see like this podcast grow and thrive and just see him a bit happier. More than likely you'll find that they have an episode already with your favourite band, but if they don't, it's probably coming up, because they're like machines with the way they get these interviews. It's crazy. So that is that. And then the final thing, kind of following on from the Sapling podcast, is some music favourites. So first things first, Dream State's album. It's called Primrose Path. It has like this beautiful teal and purple cover, and I want it on vinyl because it looks beautiful. Again, from South Wales, amazing accents, female fronted, screaming, post-hardcore, mental health themes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that even if you don't like heavier music, you could enjoy this album. There's guitars and there's screaming, but it's not in an overpowering way that kind of just goes like, whoa, that's just a lot of noise. The way that it's mixed, the way that it's produced is just, it just sounds so good. I can't find a better way to describe it. It just, oh, I shouldn't talk about music. This is why I don't talk about music, because I can't describe it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously good. Favourite songs are Open Windows, 20 Letters, I Feel It Too, and Spitting Lies. Absolute banger. Love to drive to that song. Basically the whole album is ridiculously good, and it's probably my favourite album of the year. Definitely my favourite album to drive to of the year. Other music that I've been loving, Post Malone feat Ozzy Osbourne and Travis Scott, but mostly Ozzy Osbourne. How does that come about? Just a random track on my album, I'm just gonna get Ozzy Osbourne involved, and we'll just bring in Travis Scott as well. Like, let's combine those two things together. Okay, Post Malone, but like, it works. That was more or less the soundtrack to my whole Australia trip, because I was just like, Ozzy Osbourne, Post Malone, what's going on? Everyone was talking about how genius it was having a rapper and a rock legend on the same track, but what you're all forgetting about is the 2012 hit single Rockstar by Dappy from N-Dubz and Brian May. Everyone just forgot that happened, maybe for good reason. And then the final music favourite, obviously, is the new Creeper song. Welcome back, Creeper. It has been a year without you. Like, it has been a year. And I survived. I went to see them the other day and bought a little pin. I'm just so happy that they're back. They just disappeared for a year, and it was a struggle, because they were just like, yeah, they've broken up, goodbye. And I knew that wasn't true. Visually, the most emo you could possibly get. A lot of like gothic imagery and theatrical things going on, but musically not too heavy. So if you're not into the heavy music and you don't like screaming, then Creeper are a good option for you. I'm just really glad that they're back, and nobody in my life cared that they just supposedly broken up, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about it, to theorise things, but they're back. And it makes me very proud to be at least part Southamptoner. So there we go, those are my internet favourites from the past, I don't even know how many months. Like I said, these videos are very sporadic, they just happen every so often when I feel like I have enough stuff to share with you, because a lot of the time I do just listen to the same music and the same podcasts. I will leave links in the description to all of the things I've talked about. If you're into the same music as me, you can follow me on Spotify. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want, let me know in the comments below what you have been loving recently. Music, podcasts, Netflix, YouTube, whatever it is. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.